I might have just one question, when exactly did you decide, that you were going to change since, you went back to work so quickly, even you were working during treatment, did you have like a moment where it just, flashed or?
That's a great question. It wasn't, certainly wasn't a quick decision at all for me. It's been 4 years since I had cancer, and when I went back, as I said, I was dealing with a lot of post-treatment issues, both mental and physical, and really just went back to work, did what I can, and concentrated on that as I was processing everything. It was about a year after that that I started thinking again about changing. I had been thinking that I'd wanted to possibly switch careers beforehand, but it took me a while to get back into that line of thinking that I was able to focus on that. So I worked with a coach. I took some continuing education courses and really played around with what was possibly out there. And it was actually a year ago that I was finally ready to resign and open up my practice. So it took a while, and again, it was a lot of reading, talking to other people, really getting different ideas, and finally making the decision for what was right for myself at the time. And it wasn't an easy decision, and nothing is, but again, it was really about listening to inside me what was speaking really loudly is what's right for me, and that was changing and doing something that is more meaningful for me, more important for me, and also there's less stress. I'm far less tired than I was, and so that was one way to deal with fatigue as well. So thank you.
We have a question online from Suzanne Cook. Please go ahead.
Hi. Referring to when you mentioned people who were aiming for a goal, aiming for developing something in their workplace. So I'm in that position where I've been working for 25 years to try and build a program and get success and get a reputation, and poof, I'm off work for a year. So now I'm looking at shifting away from building that program, but I don't want to let go of it at the same time. What advice do you have for me?
Well, and again, that's a common issue, and that was a common one for me. Is I had a goal in mind, and I think the first thing I would say is really acknowledging all the work that you have done and everything that you were trying to achieve, and that doesn't mean that it's going to end either. If this goal is still important to you, and that's something that we kind of work through, is, okay, what is this as a priority for me now? Has this goal changed at all? And if the goal changes, and as you say, poof, your life changes, the first thing that, or one of the things that's important to acknowledge is how you feel about that. And that can be frustrating and heartbreaking if you've spent 25 years working towards a goal. And it's, it helps to be able to talk that out with people. And as I said, I wouldn't do anything quickly. It's about slowly figuring out what's a priority for you now, and then taking the steps that seem reasonable to you and that are, the opportunities that you can see to help either modify that goal in a way that will still be satisfying for you. And it's funny, once we start modifying the goal, sometimes we can end up in somewhere completely different. But change, again, takes time, and it's a matter of really acknowledging how we're feeling as we're faced with these new realities, and really just step by step working through how this is changing your life, what you'd like, what's your priority, what you can do, what you can't do or know you don't want to do anymore, and just slowly figuring out what that means. And I've found that when you start really looking at that sort of stuff, then different opportunities show up and different alternatives show up. And if it's important to you, it's still important to you, or if a new goal shows up, then we do tend to find a way to make that work somehow. But it can be frustrating along the way, so I do share your frustration along that. Thank you for your question.
Thank you.
I want to thank the audience member for your thoughtful question. I would also like to express my sincere thanks to Maggie DiStasi for her presentation regarding this important topic, and Alianka Skop for her translation. If you would like to listen in again to this, or you want to share this session with friends or colleagues, it will be available on YouTube next week. The next teleconference will be translated and posted on YouTube will be on May 12th, 2010. The topic is nutrition during chemo and after with Louise Lambert-Lagacé. The next Caring Voices session will be on April 28th on lotions and potions, what helps and doesn't with treatment effects from the waist down with Anne Katz. And a question period in French only will take place in April on the same topic. Please note that the Caring Voices online chats and the question periods are not translated nor taped. Also, I would like to remind you to complete and send back your evaluation as soon as possible. Your feedback is important to us. Thank you for being part of today's session, and we hope you will participate in our next sessions. Have a nice evening, everybody, and thank you.